Hi, this is Kate from Izzalicious Designs. Today I thought I would show you how to make my little version of Alice in Wonderland. And here she is. She's wearing a standing skirt, which you can make a little longer by shoving her feet up so that she can stand inside it, like so. And then she can stand up, if you angle her right. There we go. Oh, we don't. Come on, stand up. She's a bit hair heavy, which is always the case when you have a lot of hair at the back, and I think I'm not stuffing her feet up quite well enough. Let's stuff her feet up, angle her hair. There we go, she's standing up. So this is what we're going to make today. As I said, you can pull her little legs out as well, because in the actual picture she does have her feet out of her little skirt. So the colours that I'm using today, I just got these new limited edition deep sea blue from Rainbow Loom, so I thought I would try those. They look rather pretty. I'm using black for her little feet, her shoes, and for the hair bow. I'm using white for her little apron and the bib of her apron, skin tone. And the yellow that I've used is another limited edition Yellow Frost by Rainbow Loom. I thought I'd use that for her hair. I'm using two of the mini pony beads. They're a 4mm by 7mm, but if you don't have those, just use black bands. And this is a standing skirt, so it's detachable, and that is how she looks without her little skirt on. Alright, we're going to make this skirt a little bit differently. I'm going to use a slightly different method to make this one. It's a little easier to put on and off, and because I was using a thicker band, I think it works just as well. So let's get started. Single loom in the offset configuration, which means column 1 and 3 are going to be slightly lower than column 2. We're going to be putting hair at the back of her head like this, which is the crafty ladybug technique, which I absolutely adore, and I think everybody should use that for their figures. Let's open up our package and get some bands ready. So these are the limited edition. They're a cylindrical band, as you can see, which is rather nice. I'm double banding, which means you put two bands together, and I'm also going to be working with the arrow pointing towards me. Now, I had somebody on my YouTube say to me, the one with the arrow needs to be in the middle. I'm sorry if you're OCD, but the one with the arrow can be anywhere you like. These come apart, and if you're fiddling around with them, and plus I have multiple looms, I don't just have one, you can have arrows wherever you like, as long as they're facing towards you. It really doesn't matter. So, two bands, let's place them on our pegs where we need them. I'm doing, as I said, the back of the head first. And this is a tricky little technique until you sort of get it down pat. And once you do, I think you'll love it. So you do the shape of the head first. Like this. And then I'm going to take two bands and put them down here for the back of her neck. And then we're also going to use skin tone, which I hadn't got ready, which is rather silly of me. So let's take some skin tone. I'm going to take a single skin tone band, wrap it around my hook once and twice, and pop it here. Now, I'm going to dig under that skin tone and grab the two yellow bands, and I'm going to keep my fingernail on that skin tone band so it doesn't fly off, and I'm looping that up. Now, before I loop these, what I want to do is do 4 little chains. So I'm going to take a single band, wrap it once and twice, and I'm going to use pairs of bands, and slide on and slide on That's 2 pairs. 3. Let's get that little bit of fluff off. 4. Now let's have a look at the back of her hair here and count how many I did. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to change this up a little bit. I'm going to do the 2 middle ones as 5. I'm sorry, the 2 outside ones as 5. So we'll do that one as a 5. But I'm going to do the middle one as a 4. Now I do owe you guys an apology. I haven't put much out this week. As some of you know, I live in Missouri, and Missouri is having a particularly restless time at the minute. I'm sure some of you have heard on the news what's happening in a place called Ferguson. Well, I don't live very far from Ferguson, and there are riots happening, which is very scary, especially when you've got a little one that you are scared for. So a lot of my time has actually been spent, I guess, looking after my family and making sure that everything is all right with our little family unit. So I'm sorry that I haven't done as many tutorials this week, but I do hope you understand that family always comes first and should for everybody. And it's a particularly scary time in Missouri at the moment. So that was a 4, this is a 5. I'm going to do another, wrap it round twice, slide on. This is going to be a 5, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then let's do another one of 4, wrap it around once and twice, get another pair. Oh, that's a bit of an odd one, look at that. 1, 2, 3, and this one will be 4. So this one is going to get on first. So I'm turning my loom around, make sure that you're all seeing what I'm doing. I'm lifting this up, I'm sliding the one that's only got 4 little chains on first, and then the one with 5, and replacing the band. Okay, so they're going to sit there like that. Let's turn this around. We're going to put a single band and stretch it across as a crossover, and a single band and stretch it across as a crossover. Now, using your hook, dig down and find those 2 top yellow bands. I can find one, let's find the other one. There we go. They loop to the corresponding side. The next 2 loop to their corresponding side, if you don't drop one. Like that. And then dig down and we loop up. Now we're going to loop up this next one, and we're going to loop up one either side of the hair on the side here. So 1, push past these braids that we've just made, just finding those bottom 2 yellow bands. Push everything down, it's going to get crowded here, okay? So make sure you push everything down. Now we're ready to do some skin tone. I'm going to move those yellow ones out the way. We're going to, again, double banding, 2 in the centre here. You're skipping that first space there, 2 either side, a pair down here, and then from the centre to the right, and the centre to the left, like so. Throw any bands that look like they're about to break away, you don't want those. I'm going to take a single and stretch it in a triangle across here. I'm going to take a pair and use them as the neck. Now I'm going to take the two bands here that were skin tone that we used as our end cap up and over. I'm going to have those sit on top of those neck bands, okay, like that. Now, eyes, take a single band, skin tone, twist it once, twice and 3 times, and we'll place those here. And then it's time to use our black beads. Now, if you don't have beads, take a single band in black or whatever colour you want, wrap it once, twice, 3 times and 4 times. That is the same as 1 bead. So you do it twice. And when I say to you that we're going to take our beads and slide them onto a skin tone band, you do exactly the same, but with your wrapped black band. And we're going to stretch it across here and here, and then just pop your hook through here and grab the top part of the band and put it above this peg. Alright, now let's push these down. What we're going to do next is the neck of her little dress. So I'm moving to blue bands. I'm still double banding. 2 bands. I'll place from the centre to the right, from the centre to the left, and down the centre. Next we're going to use white bands. Now we're doing white bands all the way on the first and the third column, all the way to the bottom. You can put white bands, pairs. And down the centre. I'll do 5 pair of white, and then we do 2 from the centre to the right, and 2 from the centre to the left. We have a little end cap to put here, so a single band, wrap once and twice, and pop that on the end here like that. We are going to need some crossover bands, so taking a single white band, stretch it across from this one here just above where the groin is. At the top you're going to do one exactly the same, and these 2 middle ones you're actually going to take a single figure 8, loop it on itself. That's a capped band, and we will put that on the first one and then one below it, so that the 2 crossover bands in the middle are tighter than the 2 above, which will give her a sort of slimmer waist. Right, we're going to need to do, I want to do a little puffy sleeve, so I'm going to take a single band, wrap it once and twice, and take a pair of bands and slide on like so. Now with this we're going to put one end on here, and the other end we're going to just put in a holding spot above like that. I'm going to do the same again for the other side. 1 and 2, take a pair of bands, one side on the holding spot, if I can get my nails to work, and the other one on the spot where we will place the arms. They have to go before the arms. Now for the arms, take a single skin tone wrap it once and twice, and now we'll use pairs of skin tone, so 1, 2 and 3, so that's 3 pair of skin tone, and then we're going to move to a pair of the blue. Oh, that's a horrible one, I'll throw that one away. Pair of blue, and one more pair of blue because she has these little blue sleeves, and we will pop that on top of the white band like that. Let's do the same for the other side. A single skin tone, wrap once and twice. We need 3 pair of skin tone. So here's our first pair, 1, 2 and 3, and then 2 pair of the blue, 1 and 2. Turn your loom around so you can angle it correctly and pop that under where we have this little bit for our frilly top of the waist pinafore. So we need to do feet. Take some black bands. We're going to use 2 black bands and put them on your hook and wrap once and twice. You'll take 2 black bands and slide that on. Now you're not going to reclaim. You're going to take another pair of black bands, put them on your hook and wrap once and twice. Now reclaim. Take a pair of take a pair of white bands, and we slide all of this on. Now I like to do the first 2, then the band that I wrapped, and I try and lift them over rather than slide them, and then the last 2. The reason being so they don't get too sort of twisted up on themselves. We'll pop this on one foot, and we will do the same for the other side. A pair of black bands, wrap once and twice, and move those onto a pair of black bands. Do not reclaim. Take another pair of black bands, wrap once and twice, and now we reclaim. We're going to move those onto a pair of white. There's your first 2, there's the wrapped ones, there's the next 2, and reclaim, angle the foot and pop that on the other leg. Alright, let's see where we're at. We've got our crossovers, got our legs, got our arms, we've got our hair. Let's start looping up. Pull her little feet back and you're grabbing the 2 bottom white bands of these feet. Now I like to do the groin bit next and then have this work its way up. So dig down past the end cap, grab the 2 white bands and loop them to their corresponding side. Do the same for the other side and the same for the middle. And then loop up as normal. And you're looking for these little teardrop shape in the band that lets you know that they've been looped in. Push the crossover bands back with the back of your hook. Alright, what we're going to do, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to loop it and pop it on top of the blue band. And I don't have much room because I haven't pushed everything down, so let's push everything down. Take this one, pop it on top like that, okay? Now I'm going to loop this white one up on top of it, like so. Dig down past the end cap. Dig down all the way to the bottom till you're finding those 2 bottom blue bands and loop them to the neck for either side. Like that. We can fiddle these around after the fact, don't worry. Then loop the centre part of the neck up there's a lot of bands here, it's going to be tight. You need to dig down, and we're finding the 2 bottom skin tone bands. Try wiggling them up a bit, it helps to release the pressure. Also put your hook around the outside of the peg, and that releases the pressure too. Dig down, find the 2 top bands, they go to their corresponding side, and the same with the next 2. Now you can see that there's twisted there. They were getting one from the centre and one from the top. If that happens, push your hook to the side here and grab the 2 bands that you want from the side, and then loop them in, and then loop the centre, down, and now I can see that's twisted, and I don't want it twisted. I want them to try and be as flat as possible. It looks better, especially on the face, if they're not twisted. Alright, dig down, find those 2 bottom bands. I have to say I do like this colour for blonde hair. To that side, to that side, with 2 black bands at the top. So we'll take our 2 black bands, drag through, and tie off at the top with 2 black bands like that, and that will become part of the bow at the top of her head. Take her off gently, I use the back of a hook to help me, especially when there's lots of bands on a peg. The last thing you want to happen is for the bands to break. It's very frustrating. Let's move that out the way a little bit. Pretty her up by stretching her into shape. Now bear in mind she will be wearing a skirt, so you don't have to worry too much. Now if you can see, we've got these little puffy sleeves here. Just pull them out so that they are on top of her shoulders. And the other thing to do is also pull her arms up and down, just to release them a little bit. And these can come forward a bit, like so. Stretch her face into shape. Now what I would like to do here is I'm just going to tie, well, let's get the black bands. What I'm doing, go under her hair here, and I'm going to poke my hook. You see the little end cap that we had here that's black? I'm poking my hook through it and drawing one of the black bands through on one side and doing a slip knot. Alright, and I'm going to do the same on the other side, under here. Take another black band. I told you it was easier to do it after. Do a slip knot. Now what we need to do is come up the side of her face here. We want it to appear up here, so I'm going to poke my hook through the skin tone bands on the side and draw up the black band like this, and do the same on this side. So go through, there we are, and draw the black band up so that it's to the side of her head. Okay, I'm going to attach, if I possibly can, the 2 of these at the top of her head, and I'm going to do that by going through the black tie-off band. I tied it off here. I'm going to poke my hook through, so I've got both the black bands from the sides on and the tie-off band here. what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the tie-off band. So I've put it on the end of my hook. I'm going to draw it through. Actually, I've just got one there. I'm going to try and get both. So my hook is not very big. The hook on the hook, I should say, is not very big. So I've drawn it through all of them like that. Okay, I'm going to take one side and put it back under this way, under this black band here, so that it's on this side like that. And I'm going to tie a knot so that and you can do it twice if you want, it doesn't really matter. But tying the knot with that band will make it look like she's got a bow in her hair. Okay, so there's the bow in her hair. That one's not really sticking up, but it doesn't matter. So there's the bow in her hair. Okay, now this, we don't want it to look like she's got braids at the back here. So what we're going to do, straighten them out a little bit, and I'm going to put my hook through the end cap. So there's one end cap here, 3 little loops, 3 little loops, 3 little loops, and 3 little loops. So they're all on my hook. I'm going to take a single, pull it back through like this, and that sort of gives her the hair like that. So I'm tying it in a slip knot, but it's not going to be a very tight slip knot. So what I have to do, I want to attach it up the back here. So I'm going to poke my hook through one side, get the tie-off band, go through another side, and I'm probably just going to use a clear. I'll use a clear band so it's not as obvious. And tie a slip knot with that, and then you can actually just sort of hide this at the back of her head under some of these bands. Hey, come here. Like that. So it's just sort of hidden, but then on this side I think it looks a little bit better than the first attempt I had. So that's how I did her hair, like that. Now we need to do her little skirt, okay, which is just like this. So what we're going to do, you can use a monster tail, but I'm going to use my loom. I'm going to poke out that center column. I'm going to poke out the center base plate so that I have my loom just like this. And I'm going to start by doing my first layer, my first row in the blue, and I'm doing a figure 8. So I'm taking a single and I'm twisting it. It's a single band twisted like this. And we're coming down 1, 2, 3, 4, and then across, and then back up. And it's only this first layer that you do a twist. Now, in my other skirts, we've done 3 layers on top of each other. For this particular skirt, I'm not doing that. I'm just doing 2. It uses less bands. It's not as thick, but I don't think it matters for this particular doll. So I'm laying my bands now, again, blue, for the second row. Second layer. I'm going to do 10 layers. So instead of adding a third layer to that, we're going to take our hook and grab these 2 and pull them over. So it's exactly the same technique, but we're just not making it as firm. But as I said, it works just as well. But with these thicker bands, if you're using the thicker ones, it's easier. If you're not using the thicker ones, it still works just as well. This is layer 3. Push things down. and then take the bottom two up and over, up and over, up and over, and push down, up and over, up and over. And you should be familiar if you've made my Build a Boy or any of my princesses and fairies, you'll be very familiar with this technique. So that was 3. So now I'm going to do one more round or blue, which will be 4. And for the rest, we're going to do them a bit differently with our colour mix-up. We're going to start with the blue up here, and then 3 white, and this will do her pinafore. And then blue on the other side, and blue at the back. So you'll easily be able to tell which is the front of her skirt and which is the back of her skirt. Again, move the bottom 2 up and over. Push things down. And that is the pattern that we're doing the bands in until we get to number 10. So blue, white, 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 and then finish the round with blue. Up and over. Make sure you get both of those bottom bands and push down. As I said, you can do this on your monster tail. Works just as well. And push down. Oops. If you forget what you're at, what row you're at, count from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to be doing number 9. And then we'll do one more after. We'll stop at 10. The good thing about doing it with just the 2 rows at the same time is that you use less rows. It's not done as tight, so you don't have to go up to 16. Now when you work out where you're going to do your tie off, you want the tie off obviously to be at the back of the loom, which is here. So when we take this off, we're going to start by taking this one off as our first and second, whereas normally it doesn't matter. In this case it would. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and our 8th. As you can see, you can sort of stretch it out a bit easier. We're going to do 2 pair of white bands, so place one on your hook like this and the other on the end of your hook. Slide those into the middle, reclaim the end of your band, one side up and over, and now you've got your slip knot. And we're going to slide all these loops onto these bands here. You can do it one at a time, you can do it however you like it, just keep these taut. If you let them go slack, this will fall off. Okay, so slide these over. And there should only be 2 bands on the end of your hook. So if you've got more than that, you've got a stowaway. Okay, I'm going to put these 2 ends together, take a single white band, slide it through, and I'm going to tie that single white band in a knot. Not a slip knot, I'm doing it as a knot, so that it looks like a bow at the back for a pinafore. So there's 1, I'm going to do it twice, so that it's a little bit more secure. 2. Like that. So that's going to be like a little bow at the back. Don't worry about this, because as we get our spoon, and put your spoon in like this, even up these bands so that they are not on top of each other, and spread evenly. See, one's trapped there. There we go. So spread these out evenly, move your tie off band to the middle. There we go, so that the bow is going to be at the back here. That's where you want it. Okay, then we're going to take her little legs, poke one in, poke the other in, slide her down so that she's lying in the base, like the bed of the spoon, and as you pull that out, her legs will come out the bottom, just here. There's 1 and there's 2. You can adjust the length of your little skirt to however long you want it to be, and that's how she would look normally. And then if you want her to stand up, you push her feet inside her skirt. Now you might want that blue band to be on the outside of the white, so just adjust it, stretch it into shape. There we go. So there we have our little Alice in Wonderland. I really hope you enjoy making her. Take care. Bye bye.